Good afternoon, guys. Just let us know, usual drill, if you can see and hear us okay. I think we are having a slight issue with the Amazon Entrepreneurs feed at the moment. So, Cindy, I know that you're watching. If you wouldn't mind maybe going in and posting the event link to the e-commerce one. Or if someone could confirm we've gone live or not, that would actually be really, really good. So I'm just going to see if I can fix it. If not, we'll see where we are. So we've got a couple of people that have joined us already on YouTube. So Cindy and Matt, funnily enough, it's like a family affair. So welcome everyone so far. Just want to quickly introduce Jason. So hi, Jason. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're well.
No worries. Hi,
Good,
everybody.
Good. Right, so Andre's there, Phil. So we seem like we're out okay on YouTube, guys. Could you just let us know if you can see and hear us okay on YouTube? And could you let us know if you can see and hear us okay on Facebook? That would be really super helpful. So someone said they are joining from Facebook, which is good news already. It just takes us a few minutes for the notification to go live. Good. Is anyone watching, guys, from the Amazon Entrepreneur Facebook group? If you are, could you let us know that we are streaming live? It's one of those things I'm like, I try and get it all up beforehand, to monitor it all. And then when something goes wrong, I just sort of panic. But there we go. We appear to be here. So let's just say hello to everyone. And then we'll go through, we'll talk about the reason why we're here today. I'll introduce you to Jason, and because we're going to talk about something a little bit different, something a bit futuristic, something a bit like out of the plot movie of like Terminator or something like that. So we're going to get a bit futuristic today. So hopefully you guys have got lots of questions for Jason as we go through, because Jason has certainly established himself as an authority in this area that we're going to be talking about today. So we've got Andre, we've got Cindy, we've got Jeff, David, Leon, a few others as well. So we're just, if you're watching on Facebook, can you just let us give us some likes and loves just so we can send out that notification? And I'm just going to double check that we are live. I don't think we are live in the entrepreneurs group, but hopefully we are in the ECOM group. So any questions as we go along, guys, please feel free to pop them in the comments, and we'll do our best to go through them as we can. So just a quick introduction from Jason. So full transparency here, guys. Jason and I are actually related by marriage. We're not married to each other, but Jason doesn't normally kind of do these sort of things coming over into the Amazon world, but has the world of AI has started to expand, and Jason, being an authority in that area, he's doing me a solid here. He's doing me a favor coming over just to talk about it, because I know so many of you are interested in it, starting to use it as part of your business. So I wanted to be able to go through, grab somebody I know that's doing, incredibly well in this space and knowing about this space, and just coming and talking to you guys about it in a casual way. So that's why Jason is here today. Someone said from the Hive group. We shouldn't be live there, but if we are, great. If not, we are now. Absolutely. So Jay, I don't know if you just want to quickly go through, just do a brief introduction of yourself. What you do in this sort of space.
Yeah, sure. So I've been doing internet marketing now for 23 years. So a long time. I've done e-commerce stores. I've done selling of digital products, digital courses, just about everything you can think of, to be honest with you. When it comes to actually making a living online, I've pretty much had a go at it. So that's where I've been. But right now I'm just focused on AI in a big way, because it's just so exciting. And I think it's probably, well, without doubt, the most exciting thing that's happened in the last 20 years of online marketing. So there's some big changes coming.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to going through and talking about that, because I think it's one of those things that if you don't know what's happening, if you don't know what's coming, then one, you're going to be in for a big shock. So it's good to have a little bit of a an understanding, and I appreciate this has moved so quickly that even if you are someone that is used to keeping up to date with things, even if you're someone that's used to being on the hottest trends, that this has come, in my opinion, quicker than anything else that I've seen develop, and normally what happens, because we're quite unique, and you guys all know this watching it as well, like when you're all talking to your friends and family that not in this crazy kind of world of making a living online in whatever capacity, most of the time you talk about something, maybe something that's hot, and they don't know what you're talking about. They're a bit like, it's like a different language. But what I've noticed with the AI in particular, it really has flooded into the normal world, and people
Mm.
outside of what we do, who think we're all crazy for doing what we do, people really are now starting to talk about this, which makes me think, like you said, this is the biggest thing to happen, right?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. And now it's really, for me, it's all about using AI to help you do what you normally do faster and better. You don't have to come up with some new fancy software or something, suddenly jump on this bandwagon of using AI to make millions. It's really, for the moment, just try and use it to improve what you're actually doing already and make things more faster and more productive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a couple of ways, obviously, people are going to be looking at this. When I first heard about it, I did have that image of Skynet, you know,
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in to rescue us all. The sky is falling in. Oh my God, let's not mess with this. And there's been some really strong language from some of the top tech entrepreneurs in the space, like Elon Musk, who's made some really stark warnings about it.
Made some big
And
warnings and then released Truth GPT, his own version of it. After having left OpenAI, who were doing pretty well. Yeah, I know.
yeah, yeah, I think he's just like tech's biggest wind up, to be perfectly
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, he's great. I love him. He's hilarious.
Yeah, he likes throwing a grenade in and just like calmly walking
Exactly.
out. Exactly. But I think, they're understandably people are wary of it. I consider myself to be someone who lives in the dark ages when it comes to technology. As you know,
Yeah.
luckily, these guys all know Matt Cromie really well. They know how much he rescues me and keeps me on top of everything in terms of software and stuff like that. But
Mm,
even I have adopted, using this. At first I was like, I'm not using that. That's awful, blah, 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 blah. But I think the reality of knowing how much the world is changing, how much it needs to be adopted. So,
mm.
this is what we were kind of talking about, of making sure that, we're providing the right information, how you guys can utilize this. Because if you're not going to be utilizing it, you're definitely going to get left behind, right?
Yeah, definitely. Just because of the sheer speed that other people can do things by using it. So, it's just like an arms race. If other people are using AI and you're not, at some point you are going to be left behind.
Yeah.
AI can do things that we cannot do at the end of the day. So, it can analyze an absolute ton of data in seconds that would take us forever to go through. So you need to be able to use this stuff. You've got to start using it.
And it's also been, as I understand it, produced in a way that I don't think there's a wrong way to use it, right? As I understand, there's not a
Mm,
wrong way, but there's ways to optimize using it so you can get the maximum potential out of it in whatever niche that you're
mm.
in, which we'll come on and talk about that in a moment. But for anyone can I just ask the question, has anyone not used Chat GB, Britain's Got Talent, whatever we
GPT.
call it? Yeah, GPT. It's
Yeah,
why call it that? It's hard to say. Has
I know.
anyone, if anyone's watching, has anyone not used it yet for any type of capacity? I'm not talking about like writing listings on Amazon. I'm not talking about Amazon directly or e-commerce. Has anyone not used it yet? And for those that are using it, if you can let me know in the comments what type of capacity that you are using it in as well. And just while we're waiting for that to come through, because what I want to do, like I said, there's very much, I feel definitely within this group and within our communities and our audience, that you've either got people that have just got hold of it and are running away with it and they're living their best life on it, or people that just are not using it at all and don't really understand it. So if you wouldn't mind just giving us a brief kind of what is it?
What is it? Well,
Yeah.
I suppose the easiest context to talk about, what's been going on with AI in the last few months and why everyone's now talking about it is because of ChatGPT.
Mhm.
So I would imagine as loads of you guys have used ChatGPT by now. We've got over 100 million users that they got in just a couple of months. So an insane amount of users, faster than Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and all of those guys by a country mile. So that just gives you, a real good idea of how useful the software is.
Yeah.
They've obviously got their free version, which in the beginning, because of its success, was not very reliable. But I mean, what can you do with it? Well, you can generate content, you can summarize content. Like if you're in the world of Amazon, obviously you can create amazing product descriptions. You can create titles, really good titles for your products. It can analyze data from Amazon, your previous sales history. It can do so many different things. So, that's just in the Amazon world. Obviously, in the world of business, it can do so much more. It's just an insanely useful tool, and it just speeds up the process of being extremely productive.
Yeah, I kind of look at it as it's that tool that is going to do all the jobs for you that you just don't want to do,
Yeah, I'm not a
essentially.
great fan of content writing and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, for me, it's a godsend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what this is, and I remember having these conversations at the start about it. And I think for me is how I looked at it is I looked at it as very much a negative at the start because I was worried
Mhm.
about the fact that, and I still believe this to be the case, but I also believe that there's ways that you can get around it. Um, it almost became like nobody's exceptional, that anybody,
Sure.
nobody had skills anymore
Mm,
because
mm,
everybody was exactly the same. But
yeah.
I think the more that I've dived into it, especially for Amazon, from that point of view, you still at this moment in time, not saying in the future, but maybe a couple of years away from this, that
Mm,
you still kind of need to know what you're doing in order to maximize it. That's the way
yeah.
that I see it. I don't know if you agree with that. You need to
Yep.
know what you're doing.
Yeah, and well, you do, because also you can't always necessarily rely on what it says.
Yes.
It's very, very good at seeming absolutely perfect and factually correct when sometimes it isn't. So yeah, you do need to know, and you do need to check what it's saying. Is it true according to your own knowledge? So you don't want to rely on it 100% at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most important thing is because as I understand it, we're again, people watching, I can see here from the comments, it's about 50 people, 50% are using it and 50% not at all. So, there is, and
Fantastic.
this is definitely within a community that is either making money online, making a living online, or looking to
Mm.
make money online. So that's still quite an interesting kind of statistic, albeit a very small pooling of it, that we are still very much at the start of this, right?
Oh
Even
yeah.
though we're all, kind of getting excited about it. I've been through a roller
Mm.
coaster of emotions with this, hating it, loving it, worried about it, end of
Yeah.
the world kind of thing. I've been through
Yeah.
that kind of remote, but we're still right at the start, right?
Very, very much so. And of course, ChatGPT, with it having 100 million users, is getting smarter and smarter and smarter as people feed it with information. And then also they rate it, whether it's good or bad, in its responses. So
Oh,
basically,
wow.
just continuing the training of ChatGPT. So it will get better anyway. And we're all making it better. And then there's new versions coming out all the time. Obviously, GPT-4 was the most recent. That's even more intelligent than the previous one, which was 3.5, and it will carry on and on. And of course, this is why ChatGPT version 4 is so good at creating content that you would absolutely believe is written by a human. That, you know, the likes of Elon and all these other people are just saying, "Whoa, slow down there. We don't know what's going to happen with this level of brilliance that they can now produce."
Yeah. I want to talk about something that Jay did actually, which actually, as clever as it was, it scared the life out of me when you actually think about the concept of it. And I don't want to go down the whole Skynet kind of route, but it did. You took a sample of one of my videos, didn't you?
I did.
And Jay took a sample of one of my videos and fed it into AI or something AI. That's the technical term for it.
Yep.
And it duplicated and started talking like me, right? Like me. The only difference was I
Yeah.
had a slight American accent, didn't I? Which
Yep. Yep.
we were trying to figure out, but it was like American Natalie.
Yeah,
It was
and now it can be Japanese, Natalie, because today they've now taken your voice and given you the ability to speak in 8 different languages, from Hindi to German to Spanish, but in your own voice.
it is scary. It is scary.
Yeah,
And I mean, it just blows my mind when we did it because we did it to a mutual friend as well. And
yeah.
he's quite posh, so there was no Americanisms there, but
No,
it
no.
was identical. It was identical.
100%. And this is the public version, but they also have a private version that will be released where it will be absolutely perfect. There'll be pauses for breath. There'll be laughing. There'll be, it just be 100% natural. So at some point or another, like you're going to be able to see Titanic, the movie, but with Leonardo in Leonardo's voice speaking Japanese. And his mouth will be perfectly in sync with the Japanese words that he's saying. So there won't be any need for other actors and actresses from those nations to do the voices anymore. So this is
Wow.
where it's going.
Wow. You know, we just like literally think about it from, you know, a making money point of view, but
Yeah.
this is gonna, we are real. We are real now, definitely, but we won't be in 2 years. We
Yeah, that's
definitely won't
right.
be in 2 years. We're definitely going down the avatar surrogates route in that
Yeah.
respect.
It's
Uh,
happening at such a speed now. You know, there's an app or a platform called Synesthesia, I think it's called, or Synthesia. They have models already that you can just type out and then they will say it. But you can pay them, I think it's $2,000, and they'll just do you. So then you can literally just type in and you will be just there in front of the camera chatting away and talking in your voice, of course, but with a fake you. So you can be 100% a fake version of you now, which is nuts.
It is. I mean, there's got to be, guys. I'm not ignoring. I'm just enthralled with this conversation. And yeah, Cindy, you're absolutely right. I think the reason why it did pick up on because I am very American.
You
In
are a fan of America, aren't you?
I am a fan of America, so I'm very Americanized. So
Mm.
yeah, I use a lot of American phrases and things like that. So and which is super smart
Mm.
because it took that I at first I was like, why am I American? And then I
That's it.
realized I actually have a lot of Americanisms
It can
in
do it on less than 1 minute of your voice and do it very accurately. And of course, the famous voices have all been done now. Morgan Freeman, you know, David Attenborough. In fact, I think somebody used David Attenborough as the example of David Attenborough speaking like Hindi. You know, incredible, incredible, and his exact same tone of voice, perfect. But
it's just unbelievable, but very scary. Yeah, a complete Nairi is very,
mm,
very scary. And there's got to be, I'll come back to the comments in a second, but there's got to be regulation coming in on this at some point, surely.
you would
Or is
think.
there not? Or how can they regulate it?
I think it's moved faster than the law, that's for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, you may have heard of that recent song. I think it was Drake, wasn't it? He did an
Yeah,
AI
someone
song.
said that.
Drake
Yeah,
in the
who said that?
weekend. Yeah, Drake and The Weeknd. I mean, if you're
It's Chris.
Drake and somebody's just made a load of money out of your voice for a song that they didn't write or whatever, or actually, I think AI wrote the song as well. But the thing is it isn't fair. If even though it's not them, it is a perfect copy of them using technology. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting and fun, but at the same time, as a celebrity, it's actually a big risk. It's a
Mm,
big risk, people are just making money out of you effectively. So
yeah.
yeah, there's got to be some sort of law put in place and pretty quick. And maybe this is just one of the many reasons why people are asking for a pause for things to
Yes.
catch up.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, but not only that, from a safety point of view as well. I mean,
Oh yeah.
literally, if you think about it from a safety point of view, as parents, anyone that's parents, so someone could duplicate my voice, ring up the school, and say someone else is going to
Mhm.
be picking my child up from
Yeah, I
school.
mean, that's a horrible use case, but it's a total real thing that could be happening now. People can ring up, their mum with their daughter's voice and say, "Oh, I'm stuck in a fix. I need some money urgently. Mum,
Yeah,
can you transfer me some money over? I've got to go, mum, bang, done." And obviously you're going to be panicking and quickly sending some money over. I mean, for scammers, this is an amazing time, but again, maybe this is another reason why we need to be a bit careful with AI. It's not all good.
yeah, absolutely.
Well,
So
I guess it's how you use it.
yeah, absolutely. It's definitely got its pros and cons. So
Yep.
guys, make sure you check everything's real. We'll set up some secret passwords in the Hive so you know it's me.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
do you know what? The guys from the Hive know how I am. And unless it can tell really bad dad jokes at this stage, they'll know it's a Natalie imposter.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure. They will, definitely. Yeah, we need secret. Chris says we need secret words and family passwords. Definitely. We'll
I
come
think
into
we do.
prompts in a minute, Cindy, because I know that
Mm,
prompts is something everybody's really interested in understanding how that
yeah.
can impact on how you use it. Jess says never actually used it for anything, so hopefully this will be really useful for you, Jess. David said messed around with it but got a friend that uses it big time for their website, for blogging, so
Mm,
content creation.
yeah,
Ben says used it once for a blog post and some title description kind of stuff. Chibo says using it for drafting legal letters, speeches, to work out Excel formulas,
yeah.
so you can code on it, you can do formulas, you can do some like really super like cool stuff on it.
Yeah, you can build websites with it and have it, code the CSS to style them. You can do all sorts, create full programs using any language that you want because it speaks 23, I think it is. 23 computer languages it can do. And it can even translate between one and the other. So, not only can it do normal languages, human language, it can do computer languages and translate them. So absolutely mad.
Yeah. Now I know Cindy's been playing around with it a lot, and Cindy was the one that mentioned about prompts. So we'll come on to that in a moment. But this is interesting, and I think this is really where it comes into play about the fact that as exciting as this is, as much as it is changing the world, there
Mhm.
is at this moment in time, obviously, the more that people use it with experience, the more experience it's going to get. So
Yeah.
this isn't always going to be the case. But there, I believe, is a very kind of small window of time, maybe a year, maybe a couple of years, where you can massively take advantage of being able to use this technology and combine it with being an expert in your area, in order to maximize it as much as possible before it all kind of catches up in itself. So like
Mhm.
Cindy said there, um, she ends up telling it off a lot of the time because it's not quite, Cindy is someone who's great at writing listings on Amazon,
Mm.
and it doesn't, because she has that experience of knowing, what Amazon want essentially,
Yeah,
whereas it doesn't know what Amazon want at this stage. It doesn't know it to that extent, the open AI.
yeah.
So it would be, how can you overcome that? Is that through the prompts and being more
Well, right
specific?
now right now there is yeah, I mean, improving the prompt will get it to right. I think I'm just reading the message by Cindy right now. Yeah, it was trying to write like a sales pitch, so you could definitely tell it not to do that. and
Yeah.
explain that you want it done in a much more kind of formal way or conversational way. There's so many different ways you can get it to write. But the other thing that I know is happening now, and I've tried out a couple the other day, is there's a software whereby you can train ChatGPT on pretty much anything. So all previous things you've ever written, all videos you've ever been in, and anything you've ever spoken, to create a knowledge base of you. Therefore, it can use that to reference to then write, and it will write like you. So, because it knows everything you've ever said and everything you've ever done in terms of online stuff that you've given it. And so then you should get better results versus just a prompt with no previous knowledge of how that person writes. But for the moment, one thing that you can do is, of course, put in some previous writing as an example of what you've done straight into ChatGPT, and then just put from there, a prompt saying, please take a note of my writing style and use that as an example of how I'd like you to write the next product listing, which is for this. And then let it do its thing and see how that comes out.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Cindy said that's what she was trying to do, copy the website into it. So that's really helpful.
Yes.
Thanks for that, Jay. So yeah, great tip there. Good golden nugget. That'll be chopped up and put on a YouTube short for defo. So Ben says, if it's alive, finished on time, we know it's not you. Come on, guys. I'm known for overrunning. Well, I've done webinars with you anyway, Jay,
At least
and
you
you know
weren't
how much I
late.
talk.
At least you weren't late. That's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so any other questions? This is such an interesting subject to talk about, and how it's going to change everything. So just going back, because we kind of skipped forward ahead a little bit again, because we do very much have people here that we've just explained what chat OpenAI thingy is, and now we're starting to talk about prompts. So let's just dial that back a little bit. So for anyone that doesn't know what a prompt is, let's talk about that, if you wouldn't mind.
So, well, really, a prompt is your command to ChatGPT to have it do something. And the better that you actually give it that command, the better output that it will give you. And so it's very important how you prompt. But it's not like a big deal if you put a prompt in and it's not perfect and it starts spitting out something that's not ideal, because you can just refine it and just keep refining it until you get the desired output. And then once you've done that, you can almost create the perfect prompt for next time and just keep it safe somewhere and save you going through that whole process again.
Well, I think, what I tend to do is I've not really had too many instances as yet. I've got the paid version. Obviously, Cindy's mentioned about paid version, which we'll talk about at the moment. Where, and I think this is obviously just a case of it still being so new. I haven't really had any instances yet where it's spit out kind of the perfect version of what I want immediately. There is a lot of refinement involved. And is that something that you still, but I don't use a lot of prompts. I think the most prompty that I got was when I was writing a complaint letter to the school about unauthorized absences, and I told it to write it in like a sarcastic tone, and it did.
Yeah, it's quite good at sarcasm and humor, actually.
Exactly. And then my reply was in an unempathetic tone, so that kind of thing, and it picks up on that really, really well, actually. But the other thing, actually, Cindy, and I did learn this myself. I learned this myself, actually. So another prompt that I've been using, which is because, again, those Americanisms, and especially if you're dealing with like Amazon.co.uk, you have to have, UK English language. So I always asked it to write for English audience, or UK audience.
That's
and
right.
then that changes it completely. So that's really, if you're finding that you're getting a lot of Americanisms back or American spellings, I always put like UK spelling, UK language, UK audience, or something like that, and that tends to correct.
And it's also a good idea to use target audiences too, just to give ChatGPT better context as to who it's actually writing it for. So you could just say, write me a product description on this Harrington's dog food or something, but or you could also add to it, for UK dog owners with dogs over 10. If you were doing an adult sort of pet food or whatever. So
Yeah.
giving it that extra bit of help will get better results.
Wow. Okay. So it is really about refinement going
Yeah,
through.
really
And I
specific.
definitely, yeah, I literally, if I'm writing a product description, if I'm writing bullet points, if I'm
Mm,
writing a title, or I rarely use it for any type of content creation. I'm still keeping that as me at the
mm,
moment, but it's definitely assisting on the Amazon side of it. What I tend to do is I tend to pull out bits, pull out sentences, and I'll say, can you reword? Can you do this? Can you do that? And yeah, but I mean, overall, if to write a listing, this is a little bit of context for everyone of how it's changed things for me as a self-confessed technophobe who don't want to get involved in anything new. I've still got like iOS 4 on my phone or something like that. I never upgrade anything, essentially. And it would take me about, all told, it would take me about 12 hours to write an Amazon listing.
ouch.
Yes, with research.
Mm,
That doesn't include research, which we still do for members of the Hive will know that anyway as well. But all told, it would take of refinement, of messing around, of doing this, of doing that. I would say that the actual writing part of the process has now cut me down to about an hour. That's
right. That's
literally
that's huge, isn't it? That's huge.
massive.
Now, if your competitor is not doing that and they're still spending 12 hours, then you're already up on them, aren't you?
To be fair, I don't think my competitors were spending 12 hours in the first
Oh,
place,
really?
because I don't think there's not many people. And
No.
again, if you're a member of the Hive, you will know how much detail goes into writing
Mm,
of our Amazon listings. So I think it's just put me back into the fold of everyone else, but
gotcha.
with the best possible outcome and the
Mm,
best finished result. Essentially the listings that we can write now, unbelievable, on Amazon.
oh,
And
yeah.
yes, it doesn't get Amazon a little bit, in the way that they want things, but we have the knowledge to be able to insert that. And I think that's the most important thing. And when we were speaking at the start about, well, nobody's exceptional. Well, actually, you still need that information to set you apart from the competition,
Mhm.
because anybody that is just using it straight to write an Amazon listing like now, and not making those refinements or not weaving in
Mm,
experience and knowledge and where you need to put things and things like that, is not going to succeed. So it there's very much a case of it has its pros and cons. It's not
yeah.
going to solve all your problems overnight,
No,
essentially.
no, that's right. But it's getting better and better and better. So, and of course, Amazon are also bringing out their own language model soon, their own kind of Chat GPT equivalent, which I'm sure will be amazing. So,
Yeah, well, what's really interesting, before COVID a few years ago, with Alexa, there was very much big hoo-ha in search optimization, in teachings, in trainings when it came to selling on Amazon, that they were very much going to go down the context spoken order route
right.
of, hey, not hey Amazon, or hey Alexa, because that's hey Google, or hey
Yeah.
Siri, or whatever when it is. Whereas Alexa, can I please order this? Now, of course, you can do that, but they never really expanded it as much as we thought they were going to do a couple of years ago.
Mm,
Whereas I believe now this is going to go kind of full circle. It's going to flip back. And I think they're very much going to link it in a lot with Alexa moving forward. I don't
yeah,
know if you.
definitely. Well, yeah, Alexa is going to be hooked up to this new language model, apparently. So, Alexa is going to have a massive upgrade, basically. And it needs it because now you sort of think, well, shall I get out my phone and use ChatGPT or shall I ask Alexa? It's already starting to get that way a little bit now,
Oh, so you will be able to ask Alexa to write me an Amazon.
Yeah.
So it's going to be verbal.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're going to be able to speak with Alexa and get it to do way more than you can now because it's not as intelligent as ChatGPT, but it will be very soon. So it'll be able to give you way more information and no doubt won't be coming back to you with "I'm sorry, I can't help" type thing.
Oh my goodness. So does anybody believe Alexa is going to be the last voice we hear before our eventual demise,
Yeah,
the
maybe.
human race? It's
It's
going to be.
crazy. I mean, if you think, Alexa's
It's
kind
going
of
to
a
be.
retard at the moment in terms of AI compared to where it is. So, you know, Alexa does need an upgrade. What was
Yeah,
once
absolutely.
amazing is now
Absolutely.
a bit slow.
Yes. Oh my goodness. The thought of that is, like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead of thinking how much it is, because then it just freaks me out. And I think, right, I don't want to put my brain into it. Not that
Mm,
my brain's going to make any difference. But it just gets that kind of scary part of it. So just a couple of quick questions here about paid version. So
yeah,
I know you did a fabulous YouTube video on, what was the difference between paid and non-paid and
yeah,
things like that. So if you wouldn't mind going over that. And of course, guys, for anyone that does want to find want to follow Jay and his videos, because like I said, you've just blown up on YouTube. One of your videos, like nearly 1 million views, right? And
yeah. It
it's
starts to grow quite quick. Obviously, it's such a hot topic.
yes, absolutely. Um, Cindy, lovely. Thank you very much. She's already put a YouTube link up there. Thank you
Thanks,
for that. For
guys.
anyone that wants, yeah, for anyone that wants to follow Jason, but we'll do all the shameless plugs at the end and everything
Sure.
like that, of course. Speedy Pat says, "I'm Dallas, and I'm listening to this with earplugs. My Alexa will be going bangers." Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, guys. Sorry, we won't say the A word. We won't say the A word anymore. So let's just go back and talk about it from a free versus a paid version, because when it
Yeah.
was first launched there was no option for a paid version,
No,
right?
there wasn't. And then it came out a little while after for some people on a wait list, and then eventually I got it, and it's great. And I think the thing is in the UK, the free version, I'm not sure if it's still the case now, but it was good in the mornings until about 12 o'clock once America starts waking up. And then
Hmm.
suddenly it would grind down and die and get halfway through giving you an answer and then die. And so having GPT Plus was just a godsend because it gave you reliability.
Hmm.
And I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't heard an awful lot about people. I know Hannah uses the free version as my wife, and she never really tells
What, you,
me,
you
"Oh,
don't give you your
yeah."
logins? That's a bit
Uh,
tight.
well, you can't be on it both at the same time, you see. So I did tell her to upgrade. Maybe she upgraded, but she did. She stopped complaining to me about it sort of not working and stuff. So
She upgraded it, definitely.
she must have upgraded it. Probably used my card as well, if we're honest.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth it if you're using it a lot. Then do upgrade. But the big thing is that you do get GPT-4, which is another level compared to GPT
Yeah.
3.5. It really is.
So the GPT 3.5, so you get the 3.5
Yeah,
with,
you'll get that as standard.
you get that
And
as
it's quite
standard.
fast. It produces content really quick, gives you answers really quick. But
Hmm.
and in fact, when I use GPT-4, and although that is obviously the better one, that's the new version. The answers are a lot slower. So in the beginning, it was kind of
Yeah.
annoying. We've been spoiled by having a immediate response blasted out on our screen, and then suddenly this new one's ticking the words out like this. But it is, what happens is you do get a better result. It's a
Yeah.
more intelligent language model. So, and it will just keep going like this, I'm sure. But they're throttling it at the
Yeah.
moment.
And
They're limiting its use.
what do you mean by that?
So in the Plus version, even though you do have access to GPT-4, I think you're allowed 25 new chats per day off the top of my head.
Yes, that's right.
Something
Yes,
like
you are.
that. Let
Yeah.
me just see. I can literally do it while we're on here now. If I switch over to
Is it?
GPT-4, yeah,
I
25
think it's
messages every 3 hours,
right. Okay.
which has never caused me
Yeah.
a problem. I mean, I'm a big user, so I don't
Yeah.
think it's worth worrying about.
Yeah, for context, guys, and we'll talk about in a moment how Jason uses it to be able to, how you've managed to monetize it essentially so quickly, which it blows my mind. Jason's been a digital marketer, internet marketer, for 23 years. So obviously, if you've been in the space for that long a time, then you're going to have a massive level of experience to be able to move very quickly on this, to be able to monetize how you can utilize the AI version. So what I suppose Jason's saying is, we don't write 25 Amazon listings every 3 hours essentially. So I would say, but then what is it? It's like $20 a month, right?
It's the cheapest, most valuable software online, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's
I
like,
mean, it's the best $20 you'll ever spend. It's
yeah.
just incredible.
They did it a lot slower. So it's an Amazon software called Keeper. So anyone watching will know what I mean. You may or may not have heard of it, Jay. It's
Okay.
like, Keeper is about $20 a month, something
Mm.
like that. And essentially it's the best $20 that you will ever spend on having software to be an Amazon seller.
Got
So
you.
this is pretty much it's a comparable to that, guys. It's one of the things. Think about how you think about Keeper and the value that you get out of the $20 or €17. I can never remember how much it is for you
Mm.
spend on that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's one of those things that, yes, I understand if you're first starting out in business, you do have to watch all of those different subs here, there, and everywhere, because they can absolutely snowball before you've
Yeah.
known it. But this is something that, get used to using the free version, and then it always comes down to a time versus money thing, doesn't it?
Mm.
If it's something that's dramatically, giving you more time to get rid of those mundane tasks,
Yeah.
then invest in it. But that's the beauty of it. You can try it out
Yeah,
first.
definitely. I mean, one of the ways I use it is to say, for example, I've just created a YouTube video. I'll go and grab the transcript from that video using YouTube, because once you've uploaded it, you can click the three dots and it says show transcript. You can just press another button to remove the timestamps and then just copy that straight into ChatGPT. And now you can work with that content. So from there, I can say, right, that is the transcript for my latest YouTube video. Please write me a social media post that would promote that video to my
Hang on.
target audience of entrepreneurs based in the US or whatever, and also add a call to action to go and watch the video. Don't forget to use emojis and add hashtags. Bam, done. It's read it in seconds, and there is my social media post to go with it.
Wow. That is a massive golden nugget, guys. Definitely that is going to be chopped up and put into a short. There's no doubt about that. So make sure you timestamp that moment, because that, if you are someone that is monetizing any part of your content or anything like that whatsoever, that's a massive tip. Thank you for that.
That's
I'm going to
okay.
do that. I didn't know you could do that. But
Oh,
then,
yeah.
it's not really surprising. I didn't know you could do that. So
Well, the
really
next
appreciate
thing I
it.
do after that is then ask it to write me an email that would be going out to my list, because it's a different thing to a social media post. We don't want emojis. We don't want hashtags. We want it in a nice, and I'll also say, like, use a conversational and friendly or informal tone in the email, and don't make it longer than so many characters as well, if you really want to get it right. So yeah, I mean, you can just keep going like that. Where do you want to do a tweet for it? Okay, there's the video, all working off the same chat. Now you can produce multiple pieces of content to then promote that video.
Wow, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, massive golden nuggets there, guys. If you are utilizing that for any kind of content monetization. So Ben says, being a sucker for marketing and design, I'll wait for an overpriced version from Apple instead of Alexa. Oh, sorry, I said I wouldn't say the A word again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're either an Apple snob or, or you're not. So
I'm a
everything.
mix on Apple. I love Apple computers, and I would never get a PC again. I've got my Mac Studio here, love it, but I don't like the constraints of the phone. You
Yeah,
are
yeah.
in the Apple zone. If you've got the Apple phone, that's it. You're in it. You can't
Oh,
do anything out of it.
I'm a full-on Appleite, I'm
Yeah,
afraid. If there ever was such a thing, everything is Apple, Apple Mac, Apple phone,
yeah.
yeah, everything. So yeah, we're fully in. We're you know praising the apples in the sky for sure. See, I just don't think AI Natalie would say that
No.
for sure. So Cindy says, same here, got a Mac and an Android phone.
Yeah,
So
that's
Chev's
exactly right.
joined us. Yeah, Chev's joined us on YouTube. Hi, Chev. Just ask the question is,
Mm,
I should put that up there actually. Is ChatGPT 3.5 and 4 the database? Is it up to date? I do believe the original free version only
yeah.
had the knowledge up until 2019.
I think it's September 21, so it's still there. Yeah,
Ooh,
September 21. But the thing is that will improve as well. I think they'll have it bang up to date, but what they don't have, you will be able to get soon anyway, because you're going to have plugins, which is the next huge benefit of ChatGPT is plugins. There's a wait list you can join now to get plugins, and they have one that will allow you to browse the internet. So therefore, you can get the most current data into ChatGPT to then use that data. So you could take
wow.
a URL of any particular Amazon product, for example, and then just put it straight into ChatGPT to start using it.
God, it's just crazy. So when are those coming into play?
Well, some people have got access already. There's no law, unfortunately. They will just roll them out to whoever they want when they want, and eventually, us mere mortals get given them when they're available. But I'm hoping it won't be too long. I've been on the wait list like for ages, and I've used about 5 different emails to try and get on it and get approved. So hopefully, one of them will work.
And is that a paid service or is that like
No,
as
that's
part of the
free.
upgrade?
That's all part of your I think you do need to be on the Plus version in order
Yeah.
to be able to have these plugins, but they open up a whole new world of possibilities. And plus, they have their own plugins, but they're really going to open a plugin marketplace. So you just
Wow.
know there's going to be someone out there who's an Amazon, specialist seller, whatever, is now coding some incredible Amazon plugin to go into ChatGPT that will probably do all of the things that we spoke about with just a click of a button.
Yeah, definitely. So, sourcing gurus out there, if you are owning any type, if you own any type of sourcing software or understand the possibility of sourcing, that sounds like a fantastic opportunity for a plugin, essentially
Mm,
that will go in and just do all of the sourcing from an AI point of view. Oh gosh, I
yeah.
can't think about it too much. My mind, it just blows my mind, to
Yeah.
be perfectly honest.
OpenAI
That's
want to
crazy.
work with developers to have all these kind of plugins because ultimately it just makes their product even better, more user friendly, and opens up a ton more use cases. And therefore, people are going to be using APIs and burning money with them. So, they're all keen for this.
Wow, that's crazy. Adaronko's joined us. Afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Chev says, thanks. Brilliant answer. The idea of plugins are brilliant. Market research with up-to-date info, mind blown. Absolutely. That's what I mean. That's just the tip of the iceberg. Has anyone estimated yet? I know that there's been like a net worth that's been put on GBT, which is obviously in the
Yes,
billions. But has
it
anyone
is.
estimated what the revenue they're producing at the moment? I always like to, well,
I
like to
don't
know.
think there's been much talk about that, but I know today they received another massive load of funding, as well as obviously Microsoft put 10 billion in, but they've had more today. And so they've been valued at 30 billion now as a
Wow.
company, which is pretty impressive.
Absolutely, considering no one had heard of it,
Yeah,
and
prior to
we
December.
knew AI was coming, but no
Yeah,
one had heard of this one in particular. What, 6 months ago, something like that, and the majority of people in the last couple of months have, when when like the kind of the BBC and oh god, I
mm,
better not say that on here because we have people chucking stuff at the screen. But the conventional media start talking about it.
yeah.
That's when it's obviously gone
Exactly. Yeah, and on
into
Sky News every other day, there's something about AI now or ChatGPT or what someone's done with it or some scammer
yeah.
who's maybe used some voice cloning tech or something. It's
Maybe
coming.
yeah, maybe we'll be seeing an AI coronation at the weekend. It's moving that quickly.
You never know.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows? Who knows? David says, would a plugin essentially replace a scraper to grab data from current websites or even Facebook? I would imagine so.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, plugin to be able to just go and get anything you want from anywhere and just put it straight into GPT for using. And also I mean, you're going to be able to take a CSV, for example, and just drop it into Chat GPT and start asking it questions about that spreadsheet. So, here's
Wow.
all my previous Amazon sales data dropped into Chat GPT. Now you can start asking it questions. Which is my
Wow.
best selling product? Which products sold the most in this week, or whatever questions you want to ask it, you'll be able to do that.
Wow, that's crazy. For anyone that's in the world of Amazon paid advertising, the big battle, the big thing, how you can really optimize your listings is through Amazon paid advertising. And one of the biggest things that people really struggle to get their head around is the sheer amount of data that Amazon sends out and how much you have
Yeah,
to analyze it, how much you have to be on top of it. So that sounds like it's going to be a
that's it.
phenomenal step forward. I don't
Big time.
yeah, I just don't know how Amazon is going to deal with this in particular. Now we do know in particular, and I know you've made a video about this. I know this from people who work within big financial institutions and things like that, that there's also been a lot of pushback from big companies, trying to
Yeah.
block it or stop it infiltrating their systems. You did a video
Mm.
about AI detectors. Is that something
Yes.
that is that's going to get stronger, presumably moving forward?
Yeah. Well, let's just take the AI content sort of talk here. Obviously, with you being able to produce content at a rate of knots now with like Chat GPT, it depends what it's being used for as to whether a company cares whether or not it was generated by AI or a human. Now,
Hmm.
Google have said, for example, for their results, they don't mind whether it's AI generated blog post or not.
So
But
this is for the
obviously,
purposes of SEO.
yeah, for the purposes of SEO and for ranking the content in their results, they've said that they don't mind if the content is AI generated. What they're looking for is it a useful piece of content that somebody who visits Google, does a search, clicks on your link, do they stick around?
Hmm.
Are you providing them with what they want? And ultimately then making Google better, because Google wants to provide the best results. So if you're doing that, they're saying at the moment they're okay. But as we know, with Bing having ChatGPT built in now, that's really shaken up Google and the search engine industry. And Google are currently developing Maggie, which is MAGI, which is basically going to be like their new search engine with ChatGPT results, or the Bard, Google Bard, that's their version of ChatGPT, like built into the results. And then I don't know where it's all going to go. Do people even care about SEO in 2-3 years' time? Or are they just going to
No.
be expecting immediate answers generated by AI and not bother scrolling through pages of results? It's
So
probably
this
where it's
could
going.
effectively kill search engines as we know it.
It could, and it could really be a problem for affiliates actually, who are reliant on search engines like Google to provide them with traffic to their, Amazon affiliate pages or blog posts with products. So it could be some major
Wow.
shakeups.
So really, this is definitely for uh, it can give you so much and it can take away so much.
It can,
There
and I
is.
think it's important to start thinking about the implications of AI for you and your business, and see it as a look at the possible threats that
Mhm.
it could have. How would it
Yeah.
impact you, for example, if Google just didn't bother? They had a big shakeup and changed their entire business model to just give AI generated results. Fair enough, you'd have ads on there and stuff, but if you're not mentioned within those results anymore, what would happen to your business?
Wow. So, this is really sobering thought. And again, the guys in the hive will know this. For every for every action that you take on Amazon, there's either a reaction, whether it be proactive or whether it's reactive. And for everything that happens, I always say to the guys, you got to ask yourself why. Why has that happened? What impact is it going to have? Is it a good change? Great, let's do more of it. Is it a bad change? Let's stop it. So we're going to have to start thinking like this in pretty much every aspect. And this is going to be so far reaching. We've all heard the warnings. It's going to get rid of 95% of jobs and everything like this in the future. It's not something that, I mean, will it get that far? Will it allow, will it, will they, the people in charge, will they allow it to get that far? I just don't
this
see
is
how
what they're trying to do. OpenAI have admitted that they're learning as they go along to a degree. We're basically on the cusp, and even now there's signs that it's there of having AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. That's where it starts to make its own ideas up about things based on what it's learned, and come up effectively be a robot brain. So a little bit different to us saying do this and it says, okay, I know how to do that, I'll do that. Now it's thinking for itself. So yeah, that's where we're getting to. And so it's all about making sure that AGI is working for us and not against us.
Yeah. Wow.
And it's very much controlled.
I also was reading something about quantum AI and its usage, that it's going to be, how it's going to be used in scientific developments moving forward, and how quickly that's going to come. And obviously this is Elon Musk, and an area that he's very much in, and how a lot of the discoveries over the last 100 years from a scientific point of view could literally be turned on the head. The universe as we know it and everything like that may not have an understanding, and we may have been getting it wrong for the last 100 years or whatever, and this is how scary some of these thoughts. So it's not one of those things that I think that you can stick your head in the sand on about, because it's going to impact every single part of his life, some for good, some for bad.
I mean, from a hacking point of view as well, I mean, my God, you could take a piece of code and put it into ChatGPT and just ask it to find some vulnerabilities in that code. I always have this kind of terrible thought that, like, what if AI becomes so intelligent that it could, for example, write a software program that would attack all the traffic light software and just turn all the red lights to green or something.
I just want to turn my computer off so it doesn't hear it.
If it understands everything and it wants to cause havoc, it could. So you do absolutely need to make sure there is some degree of control over this, because once it becomes autonomous, it's just like having a beast that may or may not do the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Scary thoughts. And, we're all led to believe, we all grew up on Terminator and Skynet, and, that AI is got it in for the human race, essentially. Sure. But, oh my God, I can't think about that too much. Do you think Chat GBT is going to be the most valuable company in the world in the next few years? Do you think it's going to go into that?
Yeah, I think so now. I mean, getting that many users that quick, I mean, that's incredible. That's taken, well, no one else has done it before. The ease of use of the new tech, the amount of people that's been affected by it and, had their lives changed by it. And now so many other companies are connecting to it that you don't even know are really connecting to it. Other marketing platforms and things are hooking up. My own company is just hooked up to OpenAI, so that now you can generate a website or a sales funnel and actually just press AI and it will read the page and then create a meta title for you or a new paragraph about the product or whatever. So there's loads of companies already hooked into OpenAI software that you may not even realize.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I am conscious. Yeah, absolutely. I'm conscious of your time, Jay. So I'll just ask this kind of final question, then we'll do shameless plugs. And any other questions while Jay's here, make sure you answer him, because he's, busy doing his AI stuff, so he hasn't got
It's
all
true.
the time in the world, I'm afraid, guys. So, well, Jess has just asked, you have to be, what are the data sharing, privacy? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, the good news is actually, Jessica, just about 3 days ago, ChatGPT released a new feature that allows you to switch off the saving of all data entered into it. So it
Oh,
will not save your chats, it will delete them afterwards, and it won't keep your data or use your data to train itself. So you do have that ability now. And to be honest with you, the word is that really that was down to Italy, who banned ChatGPT through privacy concerns.
yeah,
And OpenAI had a deadline of a few days ago to implement the suggested changes that would allow them to go back live in Italy, which that was one of them. And now they are back live in Italy. So,
right.
yeah, you can use it privately.
Yeah. So, okay, that's interesting. I wasn't aware of that. And so thanks for highlighting that. So that's got to be the way that they're going to control it moving forward, presumably.
Yeah,
That
I would think so. I mean, it's no different to a browser, is it? You know, everything, every site you go to is being tracked and recorded unless you go incognito.
yeah,
So,
yeah, of
yeah,
course. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, you're sharing sensitive data via both methods, ChatGPT and on your browser.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, that's actually strangely made me feel a little bit better about the impending,
Mm.
end of the world, essentially. Yoni's just asked, can Chat GPT scrape data from PDF invoices?
Yes, it can, or it will do with the plugins. No problem there. You'll be able to drop in anything. But right now, there's loads of services out there which will use, will give you the ability to upload a PDF and then have ChatGPT talk to you about the contents of that PDF.
Right. Okay. I
So
just
that ability is there now.
Yeah. From a PDF point of view, this is my technical term of it. All I do at the moment is just copy and paste the info in, that, and just
Sure.
let it kind of work through that. But I understand, obviously, if there's pictures, if there's this, if there's that, obviously there's going to be a lot more detailed. Um,
Yeah.
just quickly, before we go, Jay. So,
Mhm.
for anyone who does want to find out more about your information and chat gpt, because you've also got a free, it's not Facebook,
No, free
nothing's going to be
community.
usual. Yeah, nothing's going to be usual with Jay, obviously.
No.
I would normally say we've got Facebook, but you don't really have Facebook. You've got a free group
Yep.
where people can come, and you've got discussions and information, and how you can use
Yeah,
GBT
it's
to
basically full
help.
of geeks and AI fans who are just loving using ChatGPT. They're sharing their prompts. They're telling everyone about the latest AI software they just found, and we've got over 4,000 members now. And we've got that in the last 6 weeks, I think it is. So it's grown pretty quick, and yeah, people are sharing some real gold nuggets. It's better to have 4,000 people doing discovery out there than just one.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really become like a real hub of,
Yep.
of information, completely free, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to drop the link, Jay?
Yeah, I don't
Or
know if I can put a public comment for you, but if you, it's basically school.com, SKOOL.com forward stroke chat GPT. You can go
okay, so
there and join the group for free, and then we just approve you, and then you're off.
school.com/.
Yep. Or what Cindy's put in the group there, you can do it that way too. jasonwest.com forward stroke chat GPT group.
Cindy is the best
She is
mod
pretty,
in the
pretty
world.
good. I can see
She
that.
is on it. She is on it. Absolutely.
Every
She's
live
my
needs a
absolute
Cindy.
savior. Yeah,
Mm.
to be able to do it. So just follow that link there, guys.
Yep.
And that's where you can chat with Jason and find out a bit more information. Cindy Bot.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that's
That's what we
right.
should start calling you for sure.
Definitely.
But also Cindy posted Jay's YouTube channel as well. There's a wealth of information on there. And as you can see, for the amount of views that he gets and the amount of shares and everything like that. So, you know, everyone loves the content that you're producing. That please keep producing it, because it's something that's providing a wealth of information for sure. So just before we go, and once everyone's found you online and everything like that and got in contact with you, what are your thoughts about the future? I know that that's a massively open-ended question that you could probably talk for about 2 hours. Where do
Probably.
you see, I'm not, and do you know what? I'm not even going to say the future. Normally I say, where do you see it in 5 years? You know, but
Yeah.
yeah, where do you see it going? Because it's progressing so quickly. Where do you see it
Mm.
going in the next 6 months? I think that's a fairer,
Well,
question.
I'd say definitely within the next 6 months, we're going to see some massive shifts in video creation. I
Hmm.
think that's probably one of the most amazing areas of this technology right now, because very soon you're going to be able to just type in what you would like to see, press a button, and then it will make that video. And also using AI actors. You know, we're not talking cartoons here. We're talking an actual like movie styled video. You're going to be able to just type in what you'd like, a guy walking down a dark alley at night with some moonlight across it, and a guy walks out in front of him and asks for his wallet. Submit,
Wow.
bang, there's your video. And then you're going to be able to add, some AI generated music to that video. So what it's done is it's going to gradually take away the power from the big boys of the Hollywood, movie people, and just put video creation into the hands of everybody and anybody who wants to do it with an imagination. So there is going to be some pretty amazing new movies come out in the next couple of years, which will be from ordinary people sat at home who made it on their desktop computer.
Wow, that's crazy. That is a crazy thought. And that reminds me very much of how the game's changed in the last 10 years over social media, in terms of I always talk about this from Gary Vaynerchuk, who I'm not the biggest fan of in the world, but I watched one of his speeches once, and what he said was so true. Was
Yeah.
that Instagram, TikTok, the social media platforms, what they've done is they've given the ability of, you and I, normal people, to be able to directly compete with someone like Coca-Cola if we wanted to. If we wanted to have that brand, it's taken that power away. And this seems like that it's going to do exactly the same, but at even a more extreme level across the board.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, that a child is going to be able to create an incredible movie just by words and describing what they want. I mean, it's just mad. I'm mad. I
Yeah.
can't wait. I can't wait to see what people make, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
It's
Oh my
very,
God.
very close right now. There's wait lists as usual. I must spend my life like adding myself to wait lists for AI software. That's pretty much my
Well,
full-time job.
I'm sure it'll catch up eventually. Xavier said, so all the actors will lose their job. I don't think that's the case, because you'll definitely, but it will change the game in terms of,
Hmm.
well, I suppose you can't say anything for certain anymore, can
Not
you?
really. Not really. I think there'll be AI celebrities. I mean, there's already fully AI generated Twitch channels. If you know what Twitch is, it's like a gaming YouTube. And now there are automated Twitch game players which are AI game players with an AI avatar and AI chat. So it's fully AI run channel, which is generating the owner of that channel money, all from an AI player of games.
Yes, I do know a lot about what sorry, I don't know a lot. I mean, I've heard about it.
Mm.
About how obviously you can monetize chat GBT. I know people that are just producing websites with the content, which
Yeah.
are able to direct traffic and podcasts and YouTube, because you will eventually, like I said, in the next couple of years, you will be able to set up like a YouTube channel that is just producing all the content for you.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And then we could go on and talk about auto GPT, which is also just mind blowing. But basically, auto GPT at the moment it's a little bit of a complicated thing to install on your own computer, but they're changing that very soon. But Auto GPT, you will give it a goal. You'll tell it what you want to happen, for example, and this can go online. You could say to Auto GPT, I want you to go and find the top 5 best-selling dog foods on Amazon UK. Report back to me, with sales numbers if that data is available. I want you to create an amazing product description that is better than all of those combined and is most liable to rank me higher than that. And then just leave it to it, and it will just go off and do it. And it will think about what it's doing. It will critique its own work and make sure that it stays on point, and then just spit out the end result for you.
Wow. That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Starting to think about how much we're all going to be impacted by this, and that's why I wanted to have you on, essentially, Jay, to be able to talk through it. And like I said, not to scare anyone, hopefully to for you guys to be at the forefront of this, to be able to utilize it. And like I said, I think the biggest takeaway from this session today is really to think about what impact it could have on you in your aspect of life, in whatever you're doing. And look at it from a positive point of view. You guys know I joke about the Skynet thing and things like that. Overall, if there's a percentage, I think it's positive more than not.
Yeah.
I'm
I
hoping.
mean, hopefully, I hope so. I think with Auto GPT, that's when things are actually going to get scary, when that's fully open to everybody, because that thing could ring up Amazon for you, as you.
Yeah,
And
I know.
if it couldn't, it would create a software that would enable it to do it. So
Yeah. I think there's got to be a pause on it. They've got
yeah,
to slow it down. I can't see how it can't happen. But during that pause, you guys will be able to catch up and
that's it.
really be able to utilize it to your advantage. It is cool, and it is something that is going to change the world as we know it. It's as simple as that. Sean
Absolutely.
says AI is dangerous to some. Absolute, completely agree. I don't think anyone with a brain would absolutely agree with that statement. It is something that is going to have to be looked into, regulated, and be restricted as much as possible. But at the moment, it's definitely the wild west, guys. There's always
Yeah.
a period of time with evolution in anything technology based. If you think about it, Jay, I mean, Jay's a veteran of the old Google Panda updates and Penguin updates and things like that. So there's always a time in any period, where it's wild west, and then it gets kind of snuffed out, and that will happen with this. It's as simple as simple as that.
Agreed.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Jay. Really appreciate you coming on. You guys have got the link, so if you want to be able to see more of Jay and the content that he creates, join his free group for all things AI. And like I said, people AI geeking out in there to their heart's content. Please follow those links that Cindy has kindly put. Thank you so much for your time, Jay. I know
Thanks
how
for having me. Really
are.
appreciate it. And it's been fun hanging out with a bunch of Amazon folk.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll definitely be talking more AI in the future. Hopefully you'll come back when there's been some updates in the future and let us know about that. But guys, please show your appreciation to Jason. I think it's been filled with golden nuggets and lots of information. If you didn't know what OpenAI is, or ChatGPT, or whatever, I know it's the same thing before, hopefully you do now. Fingers crossed. So for anyone that's watching via YouTube, if you wouldn't mind doing the usual, please give us a thumbs up if you have enjoyed the video, and if you could also make a comment on the video as well, because it helps with the algorithm and everything like that. Give us some likes and loves and whatnot. It's always the best way to go. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Someone says thank you. I'm not sure who it is there. I will be back same time next week, Tuesday at 1 o'clock, to talk about more things, all things Amazon and Econ. Jess says thanks a lot, really appreciate it. So Jay, thanks, really appreciate it, and have a great week, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.